mynews.studio.
This past June, under a blazing sun, something pretty significant happened across Europe. For the first time, solar panels on rooftops and out in the fields became the continent's main source of electricity. But what does that actually mean for where our energy systems are heading?
Just to anchor us, today's date is August 22nd, 2025. And yes, solar power just took the top spot in the European Union's electricity mix. Solar generated 22.1% of all EU electricity this summer. That's more than nuclear, wind, or even fossil fuels. So, how did we get to this point?
It's the product of a long push, years of ramped-up investment. If you look back to 2008, solar made up just 1% of renewables in the EU. Now, it's become the backbone. This June, with those early summer heat waves, solar was hitting its midday peak and actually helped keep the grid stable. That stopped blackouts as people turned up their air conditioning. But why was solar able to handle that demand so well?
A lot of it comes down to policy. The EU and individual countries backed solar with solid subsidies, feed-in tariffs, and made permitting easier. Those feed-in tariffs guaranteed higher than market prices for solar, while direct subsidies and streamlined approvals sped up both rooftop and big utility projects. Actually, wasn't the EU's solar energy strategy from 2022 a real pivot point?
Yes, that was key. The EU's strategy put binding targets in place, and the Repower EU plan brought in extra funding after the energy crisis. Plus, auctions for large projects, especially ones paired with storage, really accelerated things. Some countries, like the Netherlands and Greece, hit new highs, over 40% and 35% of their electricity from solar. But is it just the weather driving this?
Weather helped, but it's more than that. Solar's gotten cheaper, costs keep dropping. Political pressure and climate targets are steering investment, and coal's share has fallen to 6.1%. Actually, Austria, Belgium, and Ireland are now operating without any coal at all. That's quite a change from 10 years ago, wouldn't you say?
Definitely, but there's a development worth noting. 2025 could be the first year in a decade where new solar installations in the EU dip a bit. Subsidies for rooftop solar are being reduced in some countries, and market conditions are shifting. If new installations slow down, could that put Europe's 2030 goals at risk?
That's the concern. The EU is on pace for its 2025 target, but reaching the 2030 goal, 750 gigawatts of solar, means adding nearly 70 gigawatts every year. If installation rates slip, that target could be out of reach. What's being done to head off those risks?
There's a real push now for battery storage and grid upgrades. Battery capacity is ramping up so that extra solar power can be saved for the evenings or cloudy days. Demand-side management, like dynamic pricing, also helps balance things out. Utilities are updating the grid and building better cross-border connections to handle more solar. Still, is making the grid more flexible enough?
Not entirely. The EU is actually reviewing its solar policies to try to prevent a slowdown. There's discussion about extending or overhauling feed-in tariffs, making it easier to get permits for small-scale solar, and providing more backing for community and business-led projects. Storage and hybrid renewables are set to be front and center in upcoming project auctions. Do you think these steps will be enough?
A lot depends on how much political will and investment follow through. If issues like slow permits and limited grid access aren't fixed, the annual installation numbers could lag. Policymakers are warning that missing the 2030 solar target could threaten both climate goals and energy security. But why should people outside Europe care?
What Europe's achieved with solar shows a large economy can move quickly toward renewables. It sets an example for other regions that want to cut fossil fuel use and build up climate resilience. But it takes steady investment, smart policy, and continuous tech improvements. What's the broader global impact here?
Europe's progress is likely to shape energy markets and climate policy around the world. As climate risks get more acute, other countries will look at the EU's successes and its struggles as they plan their own transitions to clean energy.
So, Europe's leap in solar isn't just a local story. It signals to the world what's possible with the right mix of policy, technology, and investment.
From rooftops to national strategies, solar power has changed the way Europe gets its electricity, and it could be a sign of what's ahead elsewhere. Thanks for joining us for this discussion.
If you want to keep track of where energy is going, this is the trend to watch. Thanks for listening. This episode is powered by My News Studio. You can try it now for free.